Okay, so how's everybody doing? So I want to just talk to you briefly about weathering, about taking the conservative approach to weathering, which is part of the philosophy that I exercise when I weather, like in this case, model trains. Now, I've weathered and modeled a lot of trains, and I would have to say that most of the early ones I did were really not very good. And even now, like every once in a while, I turn out one or two maybe that I'm not happy with. But I'll have to say that these two I'm quite happy with, and I'll explain to you why, okay? So this is an old Atlas. It was an Amtrak livery, painted. It was pre-painted Atlas gold. I bought it some time ago, 6 years ago now, or 7. It had a QSI, which I stripped out and threw away. I stripped the paint, everything, and I redid the whole model, like new grab irons. The handrails are original. I always thought Atlas made really good handrails. Ditch lights in the front, other little details on it. And basically repainted it in the pre-2010 Rail Link livery. And I would consider this to be, like, for me, for my standard, like a conservative, well, I was liberal with some things, maybe a little bit like on the roof and so on, but I still feel like this is a really good example of a model that's conservatively weathered, like according to the prototype, which I had a lot of good photos of. And I think it's really important that we have photos, because photos are really the ultimate, example to work from. Now, another approach that I take with locomotives is, and maybe some people can relate to this, is that I don't paint a locomotive like in one sitting, or 1 week or 1 month. Like, I'll revisit a locomotive over several years. Like, I'll do parts of the locomotive, like this one here's a good example of that. So before I do, I'll just show you quickly what the prototype looks like. Okay, so you can see that this locomotive is one of the latest additions to SRY. That particular video was around, 2022, okay? You can see that it was completely repainted. Like, it wasn't patched, it was like completely overhauled. I believe they got it from Montana Rail Link. So when I looked at the prototype, and I have lots of prototype photos and video, it was really clean and really nice, and just a beautiful example of a functioning and operating EMD ST35 short line locomotive operating today. Probably one of the only ones in Canada. Okay. And when I set out to weather it, I thought, I don't want to overdo it. Like, I don't want to take it beyond. And I even had comments to us, oh, it would be more dirty. Well, no, it's not actually. I mean, it might be starting to get that way now, but this was 2022. It's almost 2026 now, so 2025. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to weather the trucks just like the prototype on the tank and the front pilots. See? However, on the roof, I didn't really finish the roof yet. You can see I started to paint this part, but unless you have really good photographs of roofs, it's hard to do them authentically without just doing a kind of a standard approach. So I will be revisiting this roof, because I re-and-read the top of this with Cannon & Company fans. They're just beautiful fans, Cannon & Company. So this has been a work in progress, and it's one of my favorite locomotives. It runs excellent. There's no capacitors in it. It's ESU Lokesound version 5, but it's a very conservative approach to my painting as well. And I find that if I use that approach, then I usually end up with a pretty good model, and it's not over-weathered. Now let me just show you, or close with 3 photos, okay, about how I view a locomotive when I set out to weather it. Okay, so this is one of my projects that I'm sort of in the process of doing right now. This is an SW900RS. SRY has quite a few of these that go right back to the 70s when it was BC Hydro Rail. And this is 911, and I'm doing this with a Rapido undeck version. And this particular locomotive is fairly clean, very much like this one. And you'll notice the blue. It's hard to tell maybe with this photo, but this pre-2010 blue is actually a fair bit darker than this later blue. Now, whether that's that they changed the color code, I'm not sure, or this might be just before they really start to fade, they go dark. Like, blue's a really interesting color for those of you that paint with it. They're not the easiest color. It's not the easiest color to weather, but I like it because I'm a masochist. No, if I challenge myself, I learn more. That's just the way I am. But blue is a challenging color. It's really difficult to match as well. But I know for a fact that this blue, it doesn't look like these old blues from all my photos. This blue is almost between the two. So this is the one that I'm doing now, and there's not going to be a lot of weathering. Like, notice there's very, subtle weathering on the pilot here, and it's all really clean, like underneath here. There may be some oxidization on the roof, like here, like that maybe, but I don't have any photos of the top of it. I might have one, but it's grainy, okay? But that is why I like to take the conservative approach to modeling, because I find less is better. You can over-weather a model, and I've done it, and I still to this day, wishful thinking won't like erase the grossness of it from my mind unless I strip the whole locomotive and repaint it. Now, let me just point this one out. This is an old pulp and paper mill. It's at SRY Rail Link. This is the older banner before they went to the meatball. This they brought in was retired. House on Pulp and Paper, SW900. Look at the old stack. Isn't that neat? This is a good example of how I approach a model. Like, if it's already pre-painted, like I want to fade it, pre-fade with the super thin airbrush. That's when you really need an airbrush, when you do an overall fade like this. However, you don't need an airbrush to do this kind of weathering. I didn't use an airbrush for this. Okay? This was all done by hand. So it was just a light gray, dark gray wash on the long hood and cab, and then acrylic washes built up slowly, multiple layers. And these trucks were all painted by hand too, very gently and carefully. I may have dusted that with the airbrush, but I don't think I did. I think this was all done by hand as well. So you can paint conservatively with brushes as well. If you don't have good experience with an airbrush, it's really easy to overdo it, and you can really wreck the locomotive. This is a project that I have in mind because I have excellent archival, like, photographs, silver particle negative photographs of this. Like they let me walk all over this locomotive, so I have to do a version of it. If I have really good research, then that's a good starting point for me to want to do a locomotive. So this is another one I want to do. This is an BC Forest Products SW900/1200. Like, these locomotives have been converted over like so many times. Like, this had a cat engine. I was able to go over this locomotive really well also, and I want to do a version of this, which I have on the back burner, but I'm chomping at the bit to get at her in the new year for sure. This is where the conservative approach is still maintained with transparencies, multiple transparencies, trying not to go opaque, but more of a liberal type of weathering, okay? But it takes a lot longer to go from a stock unpainted model to this than it would to do something like this, okay? This would be considered safe, but it's like the prototype. This was something that I took beyond this. This is going to be taken beyond this one, like this particular model, okay? So when you set out to paint, especially if you're starting out, don't use your best locomotives. Try to start with the weathering of the fuel tank and the trucks first, and the pilots. That's where all the grime and sort of road dirt and everything is going to build up. And then you're going to get the oxidization from the heat, from the prime mover and the sun baking down. And oftentimes I think we overdo the sides of the locomotives. There's a slight toning down fade, but they don't get weathered that much. I mean, even this locomotive in closing, like, is heavily rusted on the top. Like, I climbed all over this thing, and the weathering on this thing is really just off the charts, you know, interesting for a custom painter. And I'm going to really look forward to this. But the sides, I was really surprised how the cab and the sides on this locomotive are actually look really good, apart from maybe on the other side where some of the lettering is blacked out and so on. But yeah, so have fun. When you weather a locomotive, take your time with it. Do separate components, you know, like just take your time and build it up. And if you get a little bit intimidated, then maybe back off and leave it for a few months. You might come back to it again and redo the roof like I'm going to do on this one. Okay, so happy modeling. Cheers, and I hope that you have a great day.